So, I've been on 94 roller coasters, and I've just decided that I'm gonna rank 15% of that. And before I start this list, all these rides are really good in my opinion, and if you don't agree with my opinion, like, just leave. Literally, just leave! Just kidding, but please don't put hate comments. Not saying that you guys are, because I'm not really that popular right now, but don't put hate comments. And with that, I present to you my top 15. So coming in at number 15 is Millennium Force at Cedar Point, or just Millennium Force list if you know what I'm saying. This ride is literally so overrated that it just became underrated, which is kind of funny. So on my channel, you may see me hate on Millennium Force a lot, but I don't really hate it. In fact, it's the opposite. I love this ride. The airtime is really good, and I love the speed too, and the scenery is very nice too. And I love riding aside Lake Erie on the cable lift too. So it may seem like there's not really much wrong with this ride, besides the overbanks. Yeah, I just gotta be real with you. These overbanks literally just do nothing. Don't expect anything from them. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in the front or the back. They'll do nothing except give you speed, I guess, but besides that, just literally nothing. That's mainly the main reason why I call it Millennium Force list. But besides these overbanks, there's nothing really bad about this ride, so go out and ride it, it's really fun. So coming in the number 14 spot is my favorite blue coaster, and the ride is Kumba at Busch Gardens, Tampa. I love Kumba so much because it's super intense, especially on that 0G roll. That 0G roll literally just gives you airtime and whips simultaneously. And I also like that little dip before the Cobra roll. It doesn't give any forces, but it's still fun. The landscaping is also really good. There's a lot of trees everywhere, which makes you feel like you're in a jungle. If I had one complaint of this ride, it is a little bit rough, but if you can get past that, this ride is amazing. So coming in at number 13 is Formula Rosa. Hold up, you might be asking why Formula Rosa is this low on my list. But the thing is, after the launch, Formula Rosa is not a super insane ride, I would say. As I stated in my really old horrible review, Formula Rosa is just a very repetitive ride, but I would still say it's really fun and it's way better than Millennium Force too. Sorry, Millennium Force. But the thing is, how can I talk about Formula Rosa without bringing up that launch? That launch on Formula Rosa is my second favorite launch in the world. I'll get to my favorite later, but the speed that you get on that launch is amazing. It doesn't really have that initial jolt, but it's still a really good launch though. And I totally recommend going to Abu Dhabi to ride this thing, it's really good. The next ride on this list may be controversial, but coming in at number 12 is Alpengeist at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, one of the most underrated roller coasters I've ever ridden. So, you might be asking, why would I put this ride over something like Formula Rosa? Well, the answer to that is, I just prefer B&M inverts like way more. And the reason why I prefer B&M inverts more is because they deliver much of a whippier experience and crazy positive Gs. And when I said I preferred B&M inverts more than Formula Rosa, I only meant the top B&M inverts, which are Alpengeist and another coaster that I'll get to later. But we're getting off track. So the reason why I like Alpengeist a lot is because of the theming, and it gives crazy positive Gs. The valley on the first drop delivers some of the best positive Gs I've ever experienced. Your legs will literally just be tingling, tingling. Like, it just really just feels like you're burning. And I can't talk about Alpengeist without mentioning that Cobra roll. I know some people don't like it because it's kind of rough, but I love it because it's super forceful. It just whips you in and out of it. It's literally one of the best elements I've ever experienced. This is a ride that is overhated, but I hate on it too. And that ride is Pantheon, coming at number 11. So if I go through the layout of Pantheon right now, I could not really find any duds in the ride for me. The only duds maybe are those two Outer Bank hills, but like, those are not horrible though. The main problem that I have with this ride is there's no standout element. I mean, you could say the airtime hill going backwards, but that's just a single airtime hill. That's not really a standout element for me. Okay, anyways, now I think I've just been hating on Pantheon way too much, so let's just talk about some stuff that I like. Most people wouldn't say this, but I love that 0G winder. It's literally my favorite element on the ride. Like, no one would say it's their favorite element on the ride, but it's definitely my favorite. Also, that airtime hill going backwards is a really good element too. You get some pretty good airtime. It's not my favorite element on the ride, but it's still a really fun moment though. Anyways, I should not be wasting all my time talking about Pantheon, so let's move on to the next roller coaster. Coming up next is a roller coaster that makes you feel like you're in the clouds, and that ride is Nitro at Six Flags Grid Adventure. This ride will literally just make you feel like you're in the clouds, especially if you're sitting in the back. You get some really good airtime over those floater hills. And the drop feels like it will never end. You just get some really good floater airtime on that drop. But let's switch the microphone to someone who loves this roller coaster way more than me, and that is my dad.
Thank you, Elijah, for allowing me to comment. I just love the Nitro. It's one of my favorite rides. It has the thrill of an exciting roller coaster with the hills and valleys, but it's smooth and calm. It's like you're riding in the clouds. Thank you.
So he loves Nitro, I love Nitro, so get out to Great Adventure and ride this thing. It's a really fun ride. So coming up next is a roller coaster that makes you feel like you're in the clouds. Yeah, I basically already said that with Nitro, but yeah, it makes you feel like you're in the clouds, right? And that ride is Candymonium at Hershey Park. If I'm being honest, I really have not much anything to say about this ride, except that it has a really good floater hill and a really good outer ring, and that's all. Bye. The next ride on this list is my personal favorite B&M Hyper, and that ride is Goliath at Six Flags Over Georgia. Goliath has some really good floater hills in the first half of the ride and some really good ejector hills at the end. This ride also has a downward helix, which gives you some pretty good airtime coming into it and some really good positive G's coming out of it. This ride is literally like the perfect B&M Hyper, and I want to get back on it because the last time I ridden it was all the way in 2019. So yeah, that's kind of long. Most people would hate me for this, but coming up next is my favorite B&M invert, and that ride is Raptor at Cedar Point. Okay, chill out guys, no hate in the comments please, no, chill out, I'm sorry. I think I got a lot of explaining to do. The reason why I put Raptor over all these rides, including Montu, which did not even make the list, is because Raptor's just so intense and amazing. Yeah. Anyway, the 0G roll is whippy, the Cobra roll is snappy, and yeah, pretty much that's all. JK, because you also have those amazing corkscrews at the end, but the ending will destroy you, like actually like break your bones, so just be prepared for the ending. But yeah, this ride is better than all the rides that came before, so sorry Formula Rosa. You know how I said Kumba is my favorite blue coaster? No. This ride is really my favorite blue coaster. And that ride is Twisted Cyclone at Six Flags Over Georgia. While still being the worst RMC I've ridden, I'm just gonna say what everyone else says. This ride is short but sweet. That drop gives you some really good airtime, and the wave turn gives you some really good airtime also. This ride has some really good bunny hills that shoot you out of your seat, and some pretty unique inversions also. All around, this ride is a really good ride. It just needs to be longer, that's all. We made it! We made it to the top 5 roller coasters! Okay, sorry about that. So guys, we finally made it, what you all have been waiting for, my top 5. And kicking off the list is a roller coaster that has the number 5 in it. And the ride is Intimidator 305 at King's Dominion. Not the one that Kara wins, because I literally never been there in my life. So I recently already posted a review of this ride, but let me just say, this ride is freaking intense. The first turn gives really sustained positive G's, and that hill under the drop gives really good floater airtime. And all those S-spins give a little airtime too, and they're really whippy. So, like, yeah, this ride is literally amazing. I guess the only downer is it is a little repetitive, but besides that, this ride is literally just amazing. Beautiful, a work of art. Anyways, next coaster on the list is Storm Runner at Hershey Park. So y'all, I'm editing this video right now and I realized that I just made a huge mistake. So I've ridden Skyrush and Maverick and I forgot to rank them on my top 15. So basically Skyrush would have placed number 6 and Maverick would have placed number 4. Kicking Intimidator off of my top 5. And some other roller coasters off of my top 15. But anyways, back to Storm Runner. If I had a ranking for the most surprising roller coasters in the world, Storm Runner will be number 1 easily. Most people probably would not agree with me, but I would definitely say the launch on Storm Runner is better than Formula Rosa's launch. While Formula Rosa's launch does have the speed, Storm Runner's launch has the force. Also, the top hat on Storm Runner is very underrated. If you're sitting towards the front, you'll get some really good ejector airtime on the top hat. While I would consider this element an overrated inversion, this flying snake dive is still a really good inversion though. People say it like tugs you through the inversion, but I would say it gives some really good hang time. So if you've never been on a crazy launch coaster, Storm Runner will definitely surprise you. Coming up next is my personal favorite roller coaster, but it's not the best roller coaster. And the ride is Twisted Timbers at King's Dominion. I think I love this ride more than most people do. Each airtime moment pops like really good. Those 3 ejector hills on like the first half are super good. Like they literally shoot you into the moon or something like that. But I'm gonna let someone else talk about this ride, and that is my sister.
Twisted Timbers. I love this roller coaster so much. It's so fun. And when I ride it, I feel the adrenaline of love rushing through my veins. I'm so glad King's Dominion's my home park, so I get to ride it all I want.
So sorry if you found that cringe, but yeah, that's my sister for you. So all I have to say is Twisted Timbers is just an amazing ride, and I might be thinking of making a separate review of this ride. But the reason why I didn't go to the number 2 or 1 spot is because it's not the best. Coming in at the number 2 spot is Iron Gwazi at Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay. Wow. Just wow. I know everyone already said this, but Iron Gwazi is just an amazing ride. The drop is stellar if you're sitting in the back. The outer bank is very whippy. The death rolls you through it, I guess. And the wave turn gives you some very sustained airtime. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about every element in Iron Gwazi, but go check out my review if you want to know more about it. But let me just say this one more time. Iron Gwazi is amazing, but it's not quite the best. The best roller coaster, and I mean the best roller coaster, is Daddy Pig's roller coaster. No, you thought this was a joke, huh? You thought this was a joke. The airtime on this ride is insane. The laterals are insane. The launch is insane. Steel Vengeance is the king of all roller coasters. I don't care if you prefer Daddy Pig's roller coaster. I don't even care if you prefer Iron Gwazi. Steel Vengeance is king! Okay, I'm just kidding, but Steel Vengeance is the best roller coaster in my opinion. I love roller coasters that just keep throwing airtime at you, but Steel Vengeance just mixed up the airtime a lot. You have traditional airtime, you have sideways airtime, you have just every type of airtime. I mean, don't be surprised if you feel some upside down airtime. It's just Steel Vengeance just has it all. My personal favorite element with Steel Vengeance is that S-Hill thing, whatever you call it. It just gives you some really good airtime, and you almost feel like you're gonna hit the supports or something like that. And that return run is just airtime heaven. Like, you just know, like, it's airtime heaven. Like, everyone talks about it. So yeah, that's basically my top 15. If you don't agree with my opinions, list it in the comments. If you do agree with my opinions, list it in the comments. And if you're watching this, just please comment, because I worked super hard on this video. I mean, I doubt anyone even made it to the end, but if you did, thank you. And bye!